Hi, I'm Martin Hume Cobb. Welcome to Wisdom Lab, where we uncover and clarify wisdom for everyday living. Are you caught in the comparison cage? Do you care too much about other people's opinions? Do you seek approval from others? And if you do get it, you find it changes nothing and you're left feeling disappointed or disillusioned? Do you overreact to criticism from others, even when it's constructive? Is what you do or how you look feel never good enough? If these or similar patterns of self-criticism are present in your life, what I'm going to show you in the next 12 minutes is going to reveal a path to freedom and fulfillment. Firstly, I'll show you how we get caught in the comparison cage, and I reveal why it's so difficult to escape. Following this, I'll uncover the simple but powerful key that breaks you out of this unhealthy pattern of approval seeking. Lastly, I'll show you how you can create a whole new understanding of yourself, which will give you a new basis for relating to people and circumstances in a freer and more fulfilling way. So let's start. The comparison cage is a self-perpetuating cycle. It starts with confusion. Confusion creates the need for compensation. Compensation leads to delusion. Delusion is followed by its inevitable consequences. These consequences reinforce further confusion, and round it goes. So let's break down each step. Confusion. As a child, we lack experience and wisdom. We misread people and situations. We confuse other people's shortcomings with our own inexperience. But the real trap occurs when we confuse our worth as a person with how we look in the eyes of others. We allow our value as a person to be defined by others' opinions on the quality of what we do and the skill with which we do it. We buy into the idea that if what we do, what we have, or how we look improves, our value as a person goes up. And conversely, if what we do, have, or how we appear doesn't measure up, we have less value. We then feel a sense of failure, of shame, of being rejected. And this is very understandable because often our parents or influential adults in our early life carry this confusion, this self-misunderstanding in themselves, and they project it onto us. Sometimes this is out of wanting to help us, or sometimes it comes from their need to project and lessen some of the painful shame they are carrying. They're often not even aware they're doing this, and as a child we absorb and imitate their mindsets and behaviors. This confusion, this not being able to see the clear difference between our worth and our works, creates the need to compensate, to make up for the deficit, to prove our worth. This is to help minimize or escape the painful feeling which comes from believing you're not good enough. This not enough belief could be not smart enough, or not pretty enough, or not strong enough, or any measure that as a child it's totally natural to feel some sense of inferiority about. Compensation. The need to diminish this painful sense of inferiority causes a strong desire to compensate by becoming superior in some way. It could be physically, materially, educationally, morally, creatively, or even spiritually. Over time, this can become a powerful motivational system which can yield outward results, but it can't remove the core not enough belief and the feeling of inferiority. This is because not enough is an essential component in creating and sustaining the motivation. Some people's compensation also includes putting other people down as an easy shortcut method to create a superiority delusion. The purpose of compensation is to create a feeling of superiority, to negate or counterbalance the inner feeling of inferiority. Consequences. So what are the inevitable consequences of creating and maintaining a delusion of superiority with contradictory underlying inferiority driving it? The consequences are an inability to fully accept, fully believe in, and fully love yourself or others. This unresolved inner conflict creates an attitude of cynicism and disconnection, which then feeds further feelings of inferiority and the need for even more compensation. So why is the comparison cage so easy to enter and so hard to escape? Understanding the word confusion helps us see how easily we can be ensnared. Confuse has been in the English language for 500 years. It comes from the Latin word confusus, meaning to mingle together. You probably recognize the fuse part of confuse, as in to fuse together. That mingling of our sense of our own worth and the value of our works is where the confusion arises and we become trapped in the cage. Once we're trapped, the fact that our need for approval helps us to strive to improve what we do also helps to keep us trapped. Any positive outward results from these efforts and any positive feedback reinforces this unhealthy motivation system. But what really locks us in is that for nearly all of the 200,000 years of human history, until very recently, our individual survival depended on the approval of our clan or tribe. We needed to contribute in a way which benefited our group and got their approval, so as to justify our place in getting a share of the protection and resources of the group. Getting the approval of people around us determined whether we lived or died. Being sensitive to others' approval was survival positive, so this programming has been selected for thousands of years and is deeply imprinted in all of us. Not getting approval from our parents or our peers feels unsafe or even dangerous and can create a sense of insecurity around getting and maintaining approval from our group. The reality of this means fear and anxiety can be triggered by any number of negative social signs, and this makes people desperate for approval to calm their fear or to calm their anger at what they perceive as rejection or an unjust lack of approval. This triggering of powerful emotions adds a layer of intensity and drama to this cycle. All of these factors make it very difficult to break out of, but toxic for our mental health and physical health, and also very toxic to our relationships. So then, how do we break out of this cycle? And what do we replace this effective but unhealthy motivation system with? If what traps you is confusion, what frees you is clarity. To break this cycle, you need to deconfuse, to demingle, to disentangle your worth and your works. In this context, your works are what you do, what you have, and how you look. With clarity, you can see your worth is inherent and not tied to your good or bad performance, whether it's approved of or not. With clarity, the really clear insight, the shaft of bright sunlight, comes when we see a child being born. All of us were once a baby. When we open our eyes, it's obvious, crystal clear. This freshly birthed and breathing person has huge worth despite being totally dependent, needy, and unrefined. The same way this totally unskilled and very young person has incredible value for just being a human, so do you now. And this has always been true about you. Whatever you or anyone else might have thought or said about you. And this will always be true about you. You are still that same beautiful, precious person, whatever you have or haven't done. There is a second part to this video where I clarify the new view of you and the world required to keep yourself free from the comparison cage. You'll see it posted here. I offer powerful resolution and self-care processes through my coaching and mentoring practice, and you can connect with this at a link in the description below. Click the like button if you found this helpful, and hit the subscribe and bell buttons if you'd like to receive more of my content. You're welcome to comment or ask questions in the comment section below. I'm Martin Hume Cobb. This is Wisdom Lab, over and out.